What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the live stream. Some people are shaped by where they're from, others are shaped by what they build, and some carry both worlds with them. Born in Iran, in one of the most historic and politically complex regions on Earth, today's guest understands the country beyond headlines, beyond the hashtags, beyond the simplified narratives we often see from the outside. For him, Iran isn't an abstract political story, it's lived memory. He later came to Canada, first to Newfoundland, where he pursued advanced training in engineering, a discipline built on precision, structure, and systems. The kind of work where problems have solutions and where careful thinking can bring order to complexity. An engineer by training, some taught to analyze, to solve, to question, but that's only part of who he is. But because beyond the equations and control systems, he's also an artist, an oil painter. Through brushstrokes instead of blueprints, he explores emotion, identity, and culture, where engineering demands logic, art demands vulnerability, and somehow he moves between two worlds. Today, living in Ontario, he carries with him perspective few people truly have. Someone who has seen Iran from the inside, Canada from the outside. Someone who understands both the political realities and human stories behind them. And tonight, that perspective matters more than ever. Because right now, the world is watching Iran again. The headlines are moving fast. The situation is evolving by the hour. But beyond the geopolitics, beyond the analysis, there are real people, real histories, and real futures tied to what happens next. So tonight, it isn't just a political discussion. It's a conversation about history, identity, culture, and the uncertain road ahead. My guest on the stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Payam Pooyafar. What's up, brother? Welcome to the stream.
What's up, Neil? How are you doing?
Oh, we're just chilling like a villain. I see you got
Thank
you
you
got
for the great intro, by the way.
Oh,
I loved it.
Yes, sir. You can thank ChatGPT. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It helped me with the grammar.
That's good. Yeah, I like it. You put it down very well. You put the right things, the angles that I. The thing is, it's a lot. It's a lot to unfold about Iran at this moment, and this is the world is going through a lot of wrong places at this moment, and.
Yeah.
I wasn't a very kind of guy that comes on the public on the internet, the public, and talk about stuff. But I think as an Iranian and as a person who lived that country, and I see what's happening to my people and in generally what's happening to the world, I believe everybody's very interested to know what exactly going on from the eye of a person who has been living there and know what exactly, because there are a lot of noises outside that people don't get what's going on, and Iran is a country that is often misunderstood.
Yeah. So tell.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then we know each other in Newfoundland for how many years?
Oh Jesus, way too many. I'm getting too old.
Way too many. We spent too many times together. So you do mean well, and you're aware of where I come from and what I am about. And thank you for giving the opportunity to raise a little bit of awareness, and then we can talk about a lot of the stuff that is going on around it. That will be raise awareness for everybody else too.
Yeah, and it's very important to raise awareness because not every day the Western media is actually reporting what's actually happening and what's going on and stuff. And I know you've been away from Iran for quite some time, but tell us about where you grew up in Iran and what your childhood was like.
Yeah, I'm actually from north of Iran. I'm actually from a city that called Rash. It's in the north of Iran, and that's where I grew up. I spent a lot of my childhood, teenager years till the time that I went to university there, and then for university I went to the capital, which is Tehran. And once I get my bachelor and master, then I came to Canada. I got the scholarship at the Memorial University in Newfoundland, and then from there, basically, that's how I met you guys, and that's how I become a part of the we're familiar with the Newfie culture, the Canadian culture,
Yeah,
and now here we are. Yeah,
and the poker culture, the
and the poker
degens,
culture, obviously, and the art culture. A lot of
and the arts. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of fun cultures that we do indulge in Newfoundland. Yeah. So I can maybe I can give you a little bit of background of how it is growing up in Iran.
Yeah.
Perhaps from the standpoint because well, a lot of people they have a little bit of perception, but your perception of what's going on based on the media doesn't fit exactly with what it is. There are some areas that it's true, but there's some areas that people get conflicted or confused. Growing up, maybe when you're a teenager or when we in your school, growing up in Iran, that's how it looks like. When it comes to the school, the boys and girls at school are separate. Like it's separate till the time of university. So imagine a Canadian goes to school, high school, guidance school, all of they start you're flourishing, you're trying to get familiar, you to understand all of those things about gender, all of your whatever your desires and stuff. That the people in Iran they're growing, they're very suppressed. Everything is separate. A lot of things are you don't get to find out, and then you move on to university. Still in the classes, a portion of the women will sit on the right or left, and then the men on the other side. So it is kind of like a growing somehow in a cage, but with not with it not the freedom you experience in the Western culture is not that much when you grow up in Iran. But the interesting part is before the Islamic Revolution in Iran, we were culture-wise we were living exactly the same. When the revolution in Iran happened, the culture completely shifted, the government values completely shifted, and we moved from what the life that we have, what you guys live in, to back to a couple of 100 years ago, before, basically. And that was the situation that we grew up. Uh, it's getting a lot better. We have a women life freedom movement in Iran. A couple of years, the women came out and then they throw their scarves out and they said that we're sick and tired of it. We're not going to comply with this. Of course, a lot of people got killed and got imprisoned. Uh, the oppression continued, but now we are at that level that people are very defiant, and they don't comply. The internet, the culture, and then the new generation reached to the point. Right now, we see uh, a big mass of people that come to the streets, uh, then trying to ask for their human rights, what they deserve. They're asking for what they want, what they don't want. But as a result of it, we had this in the last 45 days, a lot of them got killed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you, for example, a scenario. Imagine you are a Canadian, right?
I'm a
And then,
Canadian.
yes, and then you come, there are bunch of you guys that all said, for instance, you said, okay, there's this and that, XYZ in the government that we don't like. And then you guys come on the streets, you guys got together, you protest, and the government of Canada, instead of coming and dealing with it like any Western civilization or any normal civilization should do, they come and they label it as a thing that you guys want to topple us, or you guys are a threat, you guys are outsider, and they started instead of dealing it in a right manner, or the worst case scenario, maybe they put the pressure wash from the water on you, they started killing you.
Whoa.
So what would be the reaction in Canadian? Yeah,
Uh,
what would be the Canadian reaction? What would be the world reaction? You tell me.
uh,
I mean,
it's kind of traumatizing.
yeah, it's traumatized. But if we hear some news like this in the Western civilization, we would
Oh,
all go bananas.
you would hear about it everywhere.
Yeah, you would hear about it, but you would be really you would probably say that's the end of the world,
Yeah.
right? But in the last 45 2 months, same situation happened in Iran. At the beginning, it doesn't get like publicized. The news were not covering it in a scale that they should be covering, and the numbers were insane. We had 2 weeks internet shutdown. In 2 days, more than 50,000. Some people say more, some people less. Got killed. There are like more than 300,000 people got arrested, and they're still in jail getting executed. But it didn't get the amount of scale and publicity in the media that it was supposed to be, considering the rate that the numbers are insanely high. Like if you divide like 50,000 people, 48,000 people to 48 hours, that means that every hour the 1,000 people were getting killed.
That's insane, man.
That number is crazy, right? So I think for us as an Iranian, obviously we are all hurt. Everybody, like family, I got friends of mine that they lost their brothers and everything. In my hometown, uh, they did some sort of Holocaust kind of situation that the people went to the streets, and then the oppression regime were like following them. They tried to run away in bazaars, and then they set the bazaar on fire. Some of them they came out putting their hands off, okay, we surrendered, and they killed them too. So the scale of like the crime against humanity is unmatchable. Is unmatchable. And my point is like right now is all over the media. Obviously, at the beginning it didn't get covered the same, but now we're getting to the point that besides the religious aspects and all of the other geopolitical reasons and everything, my a major goal of every Iranian, they put their major goal to come out and talk about it, and then make sure that okay, this is like the level of like crime against humanity is like we should not be silent about it. So that's what's going on. I guess that's the main purpose of even like me coming on a live stream with you and want to talk about these details about you. Now, whatever direction that you want to talk, you want to talk about the human rights and whatever, what are the happening to families and stuff, what's going on now, geopolitics. I don't know what direction you want to go, but that's basically the
I've got,
setup.
I've got, I mean, I've got a list of questions and stuff we can go through, but I thought of something as I was thinking about, like, do you have any concern at all about talking about this kind of stuff, like, especially like on a live platform?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Because I
I
mean, you
mean, our
still
families,
have like
our
family
families
in
are still
RN.
back in home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, but this is like a fight. It's getting to the point that like you see a lot of people are going, and there are like a lot of movements happened in Iran, right?
Yeah,
There was movements that people say, "Hey, where is my vote?" There's movement that after that, people went to say, "Women life freedom. We want to give freedom to women," and then we keep growing. The movements keep growing because people wanted to, and then it get to the point that this is the a new generation, which is like two generations maybe younger than me. They're coming to the streets and taking bullets. Like I did a painting of that to the guy who's like an Iranian tank man. He's like a Chinese tank man, the student that stayed in front of the tank. But that guy stayed and took the bullet. And then when you look at the level of the bravery of what's going on, then you say that okay, maybe I'm here in a safe zone, safe area. Maybe my family could be like some trouble happens. But like now, I think that if you don't want to be a part of this like fight in history, then you want like as the human being, like I mean, you're not doing your thing for your for your country. You know what I mean? And what's like at the beginning, a lot of people don't do it, but then you see, oh, close member of my family dying. Oh, the brother of my friend is dying. It gets so close to you.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
like
we,
me. It's like a lot of people don't talk about what's happening in the other countries, but then when it gets to your next door, then somehow you see that okay, I have to put a fight because if I don't, it's gonna be in my house. So that's like no, so we are obviously we are all scared, but like there's a limit that a person can take, and then that's what's going on. That's why like I'm here live and I want to talk about it.
and we both have a mutual friend. I won't say any names or anything out of privacy reasons.
Mm.
Um, Let me just look at it this for a second. But wasn't he arrested or taken prisoner for some reason? Was
Correct.
that
Yeah,
from
correct.
the
Yeah, yeah.
regime?
Yeah, he was on the Kurdish side of the country, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then he a couple of years ago he went back, and then the previous movement that was the Women Life Freedom Movement. His brother was said something, and then they came to his house, and then they got his brother, and he will also were in prison for a while, and then they released him. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we saw it like that couple of years ago, 2 3 years ago. We saw it very
it
closely.
was 2003, 2023.
Yeah,
Because
very
I
close.
messaged him on Instagram, and I said, "You okay, Skipper?" And he said, "Hey, bro, I'm
Yeah.
okay for now. My brother is still in custody, and we're unaware of his situation. Family's under stress, like thousands of other families in
Mhm.
Iran. Thank you for your message."
Yeah, and that's what happened. The guy was a good engineer graduate. His father was old, and then he needed some care. He lost his mother, and then he went back, and then we started trying to be there for his father, and then that's what happened to him and his family. And then he was we didn't hear him from him for a while, and after like a couple of months, they released him, and he got lucky basically, because normally a lot of these people that they go to prison, they don't get out.
So, what are some things about Iranian cultures that a lot of outsiders don't understand or misunderstand?
Yeah, the major thing that I believe, well, a lot of people in the world, they're educated, they know, but for people who are not aware and uh, they misunderstood about Iran is one of the most ancient country in the world. Uh, it's probably the most ancient one, 5,000 years.
It's where
We have
the aliens touch down.
perhaps before aliens, but we did have a very good kingdom that we are all proud of it, and it's called the King of Persia. And that king, every country that he was getting, he was going like conquering. He had a very good rule that he say, okay, you guys want to be Jewish, you can be a Jewish, you can be whatever. But that time there was no Islam or stuff. But they say you want to be like, this religion, that religion, you're this race, that race. You go to that temple, do whatever you want. All we do is we provide security for you guys, and you guys need to pay taxes. And then they were providing like a lot of things. So from the beginning, even the guy was the king his name was Cyrus the Great, and then the human rights was based by his first thing that he wrote. Well, so that was the foundation of human rights. You can like do. I can see that you're doing your search on the side too. Uh, if you're looking for the name Cyrus the Great, human rights, you can write it down. And
Well,
but that
I
was
was
that was
I
the
was oh sorry,
yeah.
I was typing in the chat. Please like and subscribe. Sorry, I'm not talking to the chat because there's people in the chat talking away here now.
Okay.
And I said if you have any questions, just let us know. But sorry, go ahead,
Okay.
continue.
So it's a great culture. It's a very old culture, and there was called like the Persian values, and then we got our own celebrations. We celebrate the New Day, Nowruz. We celebrate the longest night of year called Yalda. So that is still stayed with us for 4 to 5 thousand years. So we do have our cultures. During this history of Iran, a lot of countries invaded Iran, like Genghis Khan invaded Iran from Mongolia, and Alexander the Great came and burned Persepolis. But it happened recently that the Arabic countries they invaded and turned about Islam. That was a part of expanding the Islam. Persian cultures among all of the Muslim countries, the Iranians, along all the Muslim countries, you will see that we some sort of accepted it, but we still maintain our culture because we were not never like Muslim, we were not Arabs. I'm not trying to say like that these are people are we don't like them, we love them all, but I'm just trying to say what's the identity of an Iranian. So we never accepted it, we were never okay with it, we were never okay with your values, and then we always maintain our values. Like during every culture, every Persian family house that you go in, you will see that we still maintain those values. And then you see a lot of the Persians are not very good Muslims. Like as you can say, I like drinking, I love bacon. I don't think you can be a good Muslim like if you like to drink or
Yeah,
having a bacon.
you love your burgers.
Yeah, I love my burgers. Yeah, the hams and stuff. Yeah.
Excuse me. So, what made you decide to leave Iran to come to Canada? Anything else besides like just school?
Yeah, it was very clear decision for me, right? Because the time we're talking about, we lived through the 40 years of oppression, but my major decision that caused me to leave is I'm going to the best university in Iran, and I'm seeing, like, my friends, even my friends' parents who got big companies. They're good engineers. They're like working very good, but the economy is diminishing. I had a friend that his dad was making power plants, and he lost the company. What happened in Iran is, uh, the leader of Iran decided that he doesn't trust the army, so he started a group called IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Force. And at the beginning, that was supposed to be a military group. But gradually, this group started to have a monopoly on our economy, on every aspect of economy: import, export, all sales, all the contracts, everything. And because of that, our industry died. And I'm an engineer. If I want to work and I want to grow, if I'm working hard to go to the best university and everything, I'm looking for a good future. And I didn't foresee a good future for me in that country. And it turned out that decision was a good decision, because our economy is like going in shambles. You can tell, like, if you look up anybody who like listening and watching streams, just pick a Google search, Iranian inflation's trend between these years. Last year, our inflation was 40%. What was the Canada? 4%, I believe. Yeah. So
So yes, astronomical
every
differences.
yeah. So every person in Iran, that all of my colleagues in my university, other universities, whoever got a chip on his shoulder, decided to leave, emigrate to the other countries to seek better opportunity, better future. Basically, my generation, a lot of us that is still like new generations, they decided to leave because we realized that we cannot fight. There's no way back. There's no fix, and I cannot burn my greatest years of my life trying to fix something that I cannot fix. That was a decision, but not everybody can leave. A lot of people got stuck, and the new generation, they had it enough. They're more brave people than my generation. I give it to them, and they're more aware. That time we were not that much culturally and life-wise aware either. Like, the amount of the I think the time that I was with the internet and everything, the level of awareness and now going on in the world is like unmatchable by that time that I left 10, 12 years ago. So the new generation just decided to fight. And it's not an easy fight. They're losing their lives. A lot of people lost their life. A lot of people might continue losing their life. And I think now we are on the point that there is a hope. There's a hope to fix. There's a hope to change the situation. Obviously, I know a lot of people might like Trump, might hate Trump. I'm not a person who praise a person or put it down or put it up, because everybody has their own mistake and good. But I'm a person who, if you do one good deed and one good thing, I'll praise it. And if you do one bad thing, then I might not, like, clap for you. But we're all, I can say that every Iranian, inside and outside, we were begging Trump to intervene to help us get rid of this regime, because that's the only way that we can do it. People went in the streets, they tried to do it normal way. They were like defenseless, they got killed. And now, with what's going on in the war that has started like recently, this balance of power is changing. Maybe I can tell, like, the people are getting a little bit of hope, a little bit of a chance to have a little bit of part in their future. So that's basically the dynamic of the situation that's going on right now. Obviously, a lot of people might say, okay, this is a foreign intervention. Other countries that intervene, they have their own agenda. I know, all Iranian also know. It's not like people who live in Iran, they fell from the back of a turnip truck,
Well, I
right?
mean, if you needed $10 and I said, "Here, do you want $10?" and I'm the worst piece of shit in the world, you'd probably still take it.
Yes. And then, look, if you want to talk about the $10 in numbers, okay, let's assume this way. We have sanctions on Iran that obviously by states they put them, right? Now the situation is before when Iran was selling the oil, is would be part of the Iranian budget. The money will come to the budget, and the government decide where it goes. So even if there is like some fraud and stuff, there's still some money, good portion of money will come to the Iranian economy, right? Now there's such sanctions. When sanctions happens, the people, the RGC who controls everything, they go sell oil in the using those fleets that are illegal, right? And the money never comes as a government income. So that money, the oil that is supposed to be sold for $80 a barrel, $70 a barrel, is getting sold maybe for a lot less for China, like $40, $30. And that $30 is not even coming to Iranian income budget regime. It's going to their pockets. So we're getting nothing. The people are getting nothing, right? But
Yeah.
imagine the situation the states do happen to Iran. Imagine like Trump comes and then they're spending money. Obviously, they're spending a lot of money and stuff moving all of these things to Middle East. And then they say, okay, we did all of this. We want to share. We're still okay with it. You guys can still have sell the barrel for $80, take the 30%, and give some portion to me. And still, some money will come to the table for people. So even sometimes, even your enemy, if it comes, that it is a good deal, better deal for you. Right now, people are getting nothing, and every day, every year, it's getting worse. The inflation is going worse, and Iran is unfortunately, is one of the countries. I just got lucky in it, but that I got lucky that I got born. But unfortunately, is one of the countries that is in fight with every country in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you need to have a fight with everyone? Why can't we go in
Yeah.
a yeah? Why do we need to avoid the aggression? Where was the last
And
time aggression got anyone anywhere?
and it's not just Iran either. It's like the whole world needs to chill out, in my opinion. But
Correct.
yeah,
Like you see. Okay, like I'll give you an example. What was the country that do the atomic bomb with Japan? United States, correct?
United States,
Yeah. And then who is the best ally? Who is the one of the best allies of United States? Japan.
which
You got bombed, but you
which
pick
they
that
bombed.
country to be the best ally. Why? Because you're smart. You want the best, better future for your people. You want to make a better decision. So you become friends. So it's not it's the future of your generation, the future of children's and like the next generation is not about, oh, now because I'm Muslim radical or whatever, I'm thinking this way, we have to go fight, we have to go jihad, we have to that is not like that doesn't bring peace to anyone.
Yeah,
Like I respect if you like have any religious mindset and stuff, I'm not against it, but nothing can achieve from this type of you know mindset. Like everybody can should get together and think economically what's better for the like you see this like countries like South Korea, they don't even have oil, but they got like good automotives industry, they got like in digitals, they're good, and they're flourishing, the economy is flourishing because they decided to be friend with everyone. they they if you try to like go aggression, what are you going to do? All the Iran is the country that is not in trade with any country, that all the people who are countries that are in trade with, they're taking advantage of them, right? They're getting the oil cheap. Iran is like one-dimensional economy. They didn't invest the money on the industry inside, so we can have other income, some sort of income. So we're highly dependent on selling the oil, and this is what we're getting.
guys. I want to just take a moment to thank everybody for coming into the stream and watching. Pam, you're live in front of 16 whole people right now.
That's
Everyone's
good.
just kind of talking in the chat,
Good
guys.
start.
Please double tap the screen, guys, if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. So, what's like the biggest culture shock when you first arrived on the shores of Newfoundland?
Huh. This is interesting. This wasn't a culture shock, but it was very interesting for me. When I moved the first time, I remember when I go to university, and then it was very cold outside, and then when I was entering university, some person, there was a girl like in front of me, he opened the door for me, and then I moved, and then she said sorry. Like it was like she did a favor, and then she would say sorry. it was everybody was so nice here. Everybody was so relaxed, and which I could understand the level of stress that we went through. They didn't went through, but I did like it because in general now I'm saying like Iranian have that type of things, but just because these years that we went under oppression, we have lost our kindness in a sense, and then now we're gaining it back. But that was a big culture shock. The other culture shock that is like obviously very clear is the level of freedom that everybody have. Like we were like every time we want to, for example, party, have a fun, some fun in Iran, we have to get close in a house and stuff. Like everybody so out. This everybody's so free. Everybody's so like okay about talking about whatever they want, without like having a fear of any consequences. Maybe like this is like a biggest thing for me at the beginning, and then we were aware of it. I was aware of it. Obviously, it wasn't something that I wasn't expecting, but it was just was sensing it the first time as a like that is that can be that kind of part of reality. That's also very interesting for me.
Okay.
Mm.
What about the snow?
No, okay. Yeah, you mean the
Yeah.
temperature shock?
So compare the weather in Iran to the weather in Newfoundland.
Well, my hometown by the beach, plus 30. The lowest temperature I've experienced
Can we
was
go
when
right
we were
now?
going hiking in the mountains was zero.
Okay.
And then I came to Newfoundland. It was a blizzard, minus 30. The power plants went down. It was nuts. It was nuts. And I was looking. I was under the blanket, looking outside and looking the amount of snow that is piled up. And it was piled up apparently 2 3 days by the time that I got there because they bulldozed it and stuff. And then the city was down. The university was down for 2 weeks. And I looked at it and said, if this is Canada, I'm going back. That was my first.
I feel
And
that every time I open up my front door.
yeah, yeah, and then it went a couple of years good, and then we had the Snowmageddon, first the Snowmageddon, and now I heard that recently in the last months you guys have another one. Have another one, right?
Yeah.
That one good. That
Not
one was
as bad.
better, I guess.
They
Bigger,
didn't
better.
they didn't shut the city down per se, but or the
You
province.
guys learned, adapted.
Yeah. See, I always said that Snowmageddon was just a precursor to COVID, and that they were doing tests on people to see how they would do isolating.
Well, I don't indulge that level of conspiracy. I got bigger problems, bigger fishes to fry. But like yeah, but I can understand your angle. Like when you, it's like one of the biggest culture shock was drinking. Because I remember when I was in Iran, I used to maybe drink 2 3 times, 5 times a year.
Yeah.
This
So
is
it's probably like
specific
very.
events like somebody getting married, like yeah, for somebody's birthday party, something like your best friend's birthday party and stuff. We used to get involved and enjoy, and then I came to Newfoundland and said, "This is like a daily activity. This is a sport here, right? This is it's completely different scale." And then the winter came and the snow came. So this completely makes sense because people are inside the houses. There's nothing to be at, and then that completely makes sense. And yeah, that was like a big culture shock too.
So, but like, is alcohol illegal in Iran?
Yeah, so based on it wasn't illegal before the Islamic thing when
Right.
the king was in. Yeah, we had the bars and everything, like
Yep.
everything was exactly like here.
Okay.
After that, then because when the Islamic take over, then this Islamic law, and according to that, whoever drinks, if you're drunk, they find it, whatever, they have to whip you 60 or 70 times as a punishment. You can buy the whips. You got that option, fortunately. But that is the thing. So if you wanted to do that, like you had your dealers, and you have to call them, and then they'll go very like what is it called? Very silent about. Don't make it like very obvious and stuff.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
just like
So
going out
it
here.
was like a drug. Like it was like a drug. It was like remember
a drug
it was,
deal.
What was the time that we had the bootlegging problem situation in Canada, in the States?
In the States in the 1930 something.
Yeah, that was something. Imagine something like that. Legally, you're not allowed to.
So I had a friend in university. He was also from Iran, and he told me that like the alcohol, yes, was illegal, but wherever he was from, he's like, there was like sometimes fields of marijuana. You could walk into like
Yeah.
like a
Mm.
tavern almost, and it was considered like going into a strip club here, basically kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
But you could get like
Yeah.
all kinds of hash and stuff,
Yeah, no,
and
it is. It is. It's like Afghanistan is right over there, so they can make the all the opiums and stuff like that. It's like a. This is not about. You gotta realize there's a country that was doing everything before, and then now everything stopped. Like even you go to do the ancient time, like every country, remember, with whatever they had, they used to make alcohol. For example, Japanese people they use the rice to make sake, and
yeah,
then Iranian they were famous for their wine. Like we had Shiraz wine. There's a city called Shiraz. The Shiraz wine original recipe. That's where it came from. And we were Iranians. Actually, there's in the old Iranian kingdoms, they had a rule. They say that every decision that all the elites in the kingdom they wanted to make, they make that decision sober, and then one night they get drunk and they make the decision again, and then they come and the next day and then figure out between the state of drunk and soberness what decision was better. So Iranians were very like open and okay with this thing. So the only thing that is stopped this was that was after the revolution, like that they put a ban on everything, which is against the Islamic law. But that doesn't mean that people stop. People still maintain their culture, maintain their and continue to enjoy the life the way that they want.
um, yeah. So he showed up into my university dorm one day
Mm.
and had a block of hash from Afghanistan about this big. He's like, "Oh, you get this for about $6,000 or
Yeah, I
whatever."
don't think it's gonna be easy to bring it from there to this far.
But he
You
did.
gotta go
He
through a lot
did.
of security, but yeah, but that's the source. That's where it come from. Like
Yeah.
basically, what do you think? Like these hospitals, like when they make like morphines and all of those things, where do they make it from? They all source from the opium or all of these things. So it's all came from that region. So it's pretty much reasonable if you tell me the story that somebody from that area that brought it in, and that makes sense. Like I mean, I've heard even here for a lot of people in Iran in some like maybe in the woods or like some areas, they're still growing weed, and it's a very popular. It's the same way that like it got popular here, that became a choice of like drug that people go here. Now they prefer it over alcohol or everything else. The same thing is happening over there. Like Iranian use is like on par with what's going on in the world outside the world in terms of like uh, in terms of like substance abuse. Yeah.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit here now because
Mm.
uh, someone in the chat says assalamu alaikum. I'm going to backtrack here now. Like myself, you I think have a military background as well.
Military background, not as in like I'm a trained like official like can conduct like a mission.
Yeah.
Every Iranian like it's like a lot of countries they not a lot of countries, there are multiple countries that they got this role. I think Israel got it, North Korea got it, Iran got it. That every use they have to go whenever they graduate they have to go obligatory military service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my service was in the more like a police department, like a city police kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's more like a you go do a little bit of training, just because when I was there, when I started, I had already had a degree, so they put me behind the computer and I was doing the letters and stuff like So I was more like I was
Was
never in field. Thank God I was never in field. Like
was the
because like if you
training
go,
ever stressful? Like stressful kind of training, like it is
no,
here in Canada? Like
well, I tried to like to what is it called escape from it as much as possible, try to
yeah,
but it was
same.
it was more fun. The only problem with it that is like, imagine you're graduated and then your brain is top ready to go to the job market, right? And then you're gonna like read ready, and then the moment that you got graduated and then you finish your education, they sent you the 2 year or 1 year obligatory, whatever, based on the your thing.
Okay.
And that they then like, and then in that thing, it's like you run the camp, they feed you, they don't pay you whatever, you're with under that. So you after 1 year 2 year, then you come back and you kind of like forgot, you got to get cash back and try to get to the job market. it just hurts the future if you're planning to achieve anything, like, it kind of kills your momentum, basically. That's what I found the worst about it. Yeah.
Someone in the chat said Trump estimate war go for 4 week. What your
Mm.
guess? What your guess? And is USA risk to go land on ground forces?
I don't think they're gonna go land on ground, and they know that too. They announced it too, for multiple reasons. That Iran is like a built like a castle. They're like, we got lots of mountains on the bottom, like the sea, whatever. And
Yeah.
then Iranian people are so much good in guerrilla wars and stuff. Like, there's no winning here. But the thing is, the people went on the street and they came in millions. They showed that they don't want their regime. And the American goal is, even Trump said help is on the way, and the people listened to it and went to the street and they got killed. And so the whole operation goal is to the paralyze the military forces in Iran, so this time people can go and take it over freely. And people already have even selected the replacement. Obviously, there's going to be some sort of democratic way, but one of the biggest replacement, most important figures that people are replacement is exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi. That people are asking for his return. So, and people who were like going and chanting and died, they're saying the same thing outside people. Obviously, there's going to be like other candidates involved, but the goal is the whole military operation in Iran is uh, for in terms of perspective from Israel and United States, is like, we don't want Iran to be any threat. We don't want them to have missiles, no atomic. Well, obviously they don't want it. They don't have their missiles. They don't want him. We don't want them to ruin the security of that area in the Gulf, that we can move. We're moving all of imports and exports. 20% of work the economy, all of the oil is going. We don't want you guys to destabilize the region. So they want to provide complete security, but in order to finish this mission, they gotta still need the Iranian people. The only problem is Iranian went on the mass and they got killed, and they don't have guns. So the whole point is now they're like, you see, like, there's a big operation started these days. They're non-stop hitting. They already hit Iranian air defense. The Iranian air defense is gone. They're trying to hit all of the ballistic missiles. They hit a lot of them. They bring ballistic missiles from underground. They find it where it is. They keep hitting it. So they're gonna go till, and then now they're starting hitting the units, all the people that in the groups that inside the city, they get together and go for killing the people and the oppression and stuff. So they're trying to provide the situation that next time people get coming in the streets, they can take over. They already, like, the internet is shut down. They already take over all of the broadcasts and everything. So that's the goal. The people the way that this mission operation is going to be finished is by people on the streets and taking back what they want.
Okay.
And then they provide the situation for the transition.
So did you ever become? Are you a Canadian resident? Like a permanent
Yeah, I'm
resident?
in the process of it. Soon I'll be a permanent resident, and then
Okay.
I think it's maybe in 2 years. Yeah, I'm almost there.
Cool. So, like, now that you've been in Canada for a long time,
Yeah, it's more than a decade. It's strange that how come I'm not a Canadian resident.
do you feel more Iranian, Canadian, or like something in between?
I think I'm a good mix now, because during the time, well, Newfoundland is,
Well,
as everybody who knows who've been there, or people who don't know, who haven't been there, I'll tell you, it's a lot more pure, like, white. It's like, it's culturally diverse, but not as much as every other provinces that you probably see in Canada.
right.
And then during the time that I was there, I was basically hanging out with you guys, and like, I don't think you have, how many Iranian friends you see around me? Not even one.
You had you had two roommates that were Iranian. That's all I knew.
That was it, yeah. And then that was it, yeah. So I was involved in the culture, but like, I'm just trying to say that it wasn't. So during that time, I became more Canadian. I think I worked on my acculturization thing part. Now I'm missing the. Now the woman that I got, she's also Iranian. So now I'm getting back to my roots. Now I think I'm a perfect mix now. So if you drop me in some place that they're all Canadian, all sinking. It dropped me to Iranian culture, all sinking. So I'm a half and half
Well,
now.
I mean, I noticed after a while you've even started developing a Newfoundland accent and
Yes, I
using like
did develop Newfie
colloquialisms
accent,
and stuff. Yeah, it's
going
fun.
empty house.
Empty house boy, what are you at?
What do you
Oh
have,
man,
right?
we're up to 300 views on this stream. Coincidentally, the most successful stream we've ever had here on this Mushbag Live. Thanks for everybody joining in. I appreciate it so much. If you could subscribe, go check out Payam. I think your Instagram, Payam Brushstrokes.
Correct.
Yeah. How did moving to Canada change the way you see Iran?
I see. Change the way. I see what
How did it change the way that you see Iran?
Iran. It didn't. It didn't. We already know what it was. We already know what it was going. The only surprising aspect of it that we never thought that people are going to go to street and take this life, sacrifice their life. So
Yeah.
that is what I'm really proud of. And a lot of my best my best friend brother died, and then it's insane the level of digestion. I remember when we were watching videos and hearing the news, we were all very. But two weeks into it was down, so we didn't know what's going on. There are some videos coming out. We know that this massacre is happening, but we had no idea. We haven't heard from our families. Everybody was like, here, we were worried. Then we don't talk to families. Then we know. Then the videos started coming out. So these 2 months, I think it took a toll on every Iranian outside. I don't think any Iranian outside Iran are the same people anymore because psychologically we went through a lot. And we're a different person than we were before. But in general, yeah, I actually I got a question for you. What are you, because you are the person from, you're in Canada, so you're
Yeah.
watching the news from you're basically from whatever you guys follow, but you're watching the news and everything from your aspect.
Right.
So before you talk to me and I maybe open up some of these details, what do you think, like Canadian, a person in Newfoundland? Well, people over there is pretty free. They don't bother too much. Maybe they're more worried about aliens than anything else. But I'm joking. But you know what I mean. What can I get
Worried
a little bit
about
of input from you?
worried about our unemployment checks.
Yeah, exactly. That's like Newfoundland great economy. Mm.
So wait, what is your question?
So what is your input? What do you think is going on from your point of view?
Well, my point of view was like, well, you look on like the mainstream media and stuff, and you don't really see any of this stuff, right? I only know about a lot of stuff what's going on in Iran because I talk to people like you and some other Iranians, and I look at it on Instagram and read about it on ChatGPT and stuff. So I understand it. I think I understand it a little bit more than probably the average person.
Yeah, it's like
in
it's so
Newfoundland.
interesting. See, when these things, this is what happened. What I understood, like I do art in Instagram. I'm not very great to figure out how the system works, but this is what I understood and I experienced. So when it happened at the beginning, news media wasn't thing, but we were getting the news as Iranian, and there were some insiders like we were sharing, and then it goes inside. People are sharing in their stories and everything. And
Yeah.
apparently, the way that it works, it goes in circles just between those Iranians who were sharing. So it didn't get out of the things. That's why, I decided to go. Okay, this is not getting enough exposure that it should be, but in reality, it's happening. We are all in pain. I need to show it. So I started doing a painting about it, and then I put it in a group exhibition here. So then we went on a group exhibition. The people come and see, and then they started asking questions. Then I said, okay, now this thing is working. So I started posting things in English, try to maybe, because my audience was more like I have Iranian audience, but I have like a lot of non-Iranian audience. So I try to give that exposure. And I believe one of the goals of the me and you talking about it, and I thank you for putting a time aside for it, we want to do it, is I do want this war to get out, to get around. And I do want people to hear the real aspect of what's going on. and I hope like we achieved that goal. I'm very like certain about it. Before that, I was like when I was doing art and promoting, I wasn't very serious. I would just like enjoy putting my art out. But now I think that this is a mission, it's becoming a mission that I should consider more serious.
You know, I've had like 3 Iranian friends just basically thank me for posting the reels that I've been posting in Instagram,
Mm.
and just like thanking me for the support. But I'm sorry, just give me a second. What I'm doing right now is I'm bringing up, I think the painting that you're talking about. I'm going to put it on the screen here.
Mm. I can explain that.
Is it the one with the one with the person sitting down in front of the motorbikes and the police?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got it on my screen here now.
Mm.
Here we go.
Okay, so if you zoom in the painting, yeah, I can tell. So this is what's going on. This is the first day of that it got serious, right?
Yeah.
And then what's going on is we have an equivalent of this movement in China. There were like a bunch of tanks that was coming, and there was a guy who stand in front of the tanks and didn't move and didn't let the tank move. And
Right.
he was like a Canadian, sorry, he was Chinese tankman. When this first people went to the streets and it went crazy, and normally people always used to run away from these people who are in bike, they're like the regime forces, that they come and then they arrest them, they hit them and stuff with the bats, and you can see the bats in the painting as well. But this person just sit down, knowing that he is going to be arrested. They killed him, knowing that he's going to get tortured, and knowing that he's going to be so he became, but he stood there and he sit down on the. If everybody like look up Iranian tankman, you will see the original image that this one is inspired from. And I wanted to, and that was the first image that got out and started this revolution. People it started trending, and everybody was like talking about it, and then people were like understanding the level of the bravery that now we're seeing from the new generation. So I wanted to somehow immortalize that image, and then that's why I decided to do this painting.
Okay, so how long does something like you paint? I've seen you paint in real time, and I've seen you paint a lot of oil paintings.
Yeah.
How long does something like that normally take?
Well, when I started with this one. This one is like more some sort of expressionist painting, and it's not like my realism paintings. I can go with months or a year, but this one I think I did it in a 1 month. And then every time that I was going at it, they were just coming with the ideas. Obviously, at the beginning, this painting wasn't like this. This painting developed to be like the colors, some of the colors and the background and stuff, it changed. But I think I put like maybe 6 sessions of like a couple of hours each. If we got finished in a month, and my goal was to get this finished done as soon as possible, so I can get it out there to make the awareness. The goal of this painting wasn't like I'm doing the commission for the like realistic ones. Yeah, a month would be, I think, once. That's what we did.
That's really cool. Tell us about your painting journey. Actually, someone in the chat says, "Are you guys Mossad?" Can you reply?
Yes. Yeah, of course we are. Everyone is Mossad now, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna answer political questions, these things like that. I'm just a normal person like you guys, man. I'm just talking about a lot of people in my country died, and obviously I just want to talk about it. We didn't go anything about the geopolitical and stuff. I'm just saying it plainly, exactly how it is in our country. Obviously, the whole mission that it started, Israel had a part in it too, and it's not like Iranian people didn't know about it, but they just made the choice. They must agreed that okay, if you guys can help us out through that transition, we invite that help. As I said, I'm not praising anyone or any group or anything. There are people who do very bad things, and at the same time, they can do something good for us that can help us too. So this is not about who's good, who's bad. This is not a religious talk. This is not a race talk. This is basically human rights talk. There are people who got killed. There for some political reasons, geopolitical reasons, for any other reasons. I'm just talking, reflecting on what happened to the people of my country, and I'm talking about only from my experience, from where I grew up, how the situation of growing Iran affected my life, and how it's affecting all of my the people in Iran. So I guess I gave the right answer, your friend.
Yeah, I got another image on the screen here now. This is one of the ones you painted of the puffins.
Yeah, the Last Supper of the Puffins.
That's based on the Last Supper of I think
Da Vinci. So that one I remember when I was in Newfoundland. We do have this bird puffin that is a very popular bird here, and a lot of people come from different countries. They come to that Buena Vista to just take a picture of this bird. And then I was like thinking of doing a painting, and then the idea came to me that okay, I can make these guys in the same way the disciples were sitting around the table having a supper. I called it Last Supper of Puffins. Yeah,
I think
that was a very popular painting here. A lot of people got the prints of it, and then I was very astonished that I did a lot of paintings, but this painting has the most. Yeah, we did actually the new version of this now. It's a Great Wave of Kanakawa version of it, and I haven't put it out there. But you were following my page. You see the procedure so far.
Yeah, I've been watching it from the beginning.
To promote that, but that situation in Iran happened, and I didn't think it's good to pursue business when my people in my country are suffering. So I put on a pause. But soon that painting will come out.
Cool, man. Yeah, I think my girlfriend would probably like this painting.
Mm. Yeah, we can have a print.
Here we go.
I'll send it to you.
I did have paintings of yours in the past as well.
Yeah, I think you do have one or two.
The lips ones.
Oh yeah, those ones are perhaps. Yeah, good old times. So how is life? Life on the rock? Is everything going good over there?
Oh man, cold and wet.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in the chat said, but Supreme Leader brought Iran to a great level of supremacy and strong position. What's your opinion on that?
I say you're right. Too bad he's gone now.
Yeah, he is gone.
Mm. It's interesting the way that they talk, and then they talk from the position of power, and then in the first minute of attack, they get removed. I mean, in terms of military, it's very interesting. Like, I feel like that. Well, once again, we go back to that thing. If you're in the high school, you're in the maybe like there's a bully coming, like that bully can kill you, right? What would you do? Would you try to indulge in a fight to get killed, or would you try to somehow make a friendship with that bully? Like, what is your strategy? Is like,
well, for instance, we get a lot of trolls who come into the chat and they try to bully me or they make fun of me or whatever. And I just accept them. I accept them for who they are, and I laugh at their jokes. And all of a sudden, I turn a troll into a subscriber. So I had one troll come in, and he was ripping on me the whole stream. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "You man, you're a pretty cool guy." And then he sent a $2 super chat.
Okay, that's good.
So that's I kind of like I deflect bullying because I was bullied a lot myself.
Yeah. But like, it's speaking of bullies and all of things, because a lot of people like think, okay, United States is bullying. I just want to give you a little bit of insight in terms, just like military speaking. Iran doesn't have a sophisticated air defense. The air defense is from Russia, which they annihilated. They don't have any airplanes or jets to fly, so cover the air. So when the country is like stays so they attack, they're airborne. in an hour, right? They got everything covered. Then we're realizing the other aspects of their military is not as strong. The only thing that they're very strong is ballistic missiles and stuff like that. They make it in mass. Mass.
I was reading about it.
Yeah, but in general, in terms of technology, in terms of level of assets, like strategic. Like even Iran is not capable of hurting states. They do asymmetric wars. They said that okay, I cannot hurt the states. I can hurt maybe hit the state bases, or I can hurt the countries around. So I can say bring the war to outside, maybe turn it into world war, and then out of all the countries also, oh, this is too much, this is chaos, and force the United States to stop. So their military strategy is not in a way that, and they're starting to realize that they're not even to that level strong.
It feels
Like,
more like a child throwing a temper tantrum with a bunch of
exactly. Like
with a
imagine
bunch of
you
big
have a plane.
weapons.
You have a plane, you're going over a tribe, and the tribe just sending you. I'm not saying that, but imagine like if you're in a plane, you're going over these old tribes in the middle of jungle, and they're sending you something. That's basically the comparison between level of military of United States and the level of Iran. The only thing is they get so many of those arrows, you know. That's and the arrows can hit. But if it hits, it's catastrophic. But the thing is, these are the people. Like the problem is, okay, they have all the rights to have their own sovereignty. I'm not against like Iran defending itself, but you gotta realize these people killed 50,000 more than that of their own people. If they don't show mercy to their own people, what do you call this type of people? That's exactly why all the countries in Europe and all the countries, they started condemning them, and then they started like calling IRGC as a terrorist group, because that's what they're doing. It's like you cannot, you shouldn't. There's no country in the world that people go protest and then they got killed with a military grade weapon. So that is exactly what's at stake. I told you that this thing is a human rights problem. This is not about we should not allow any country to do that to their own people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the Eastern world, that is very okay. We just wake up tomorrow, some people happened over this country, that country, everything okay. Oh, 1,000 people died, whatever. 10,000, whatever. Imagine that the scale happens in the Western civilization. How come we're not okay in the Western civilization, but in the right, the Eastern, we just let it pass? They're the same people. They're also humans. They're just living on the wrong side of the wall. Yeah, you're seeing what's going on in the oppression.
That's
also,
really
actually, you were showing some image before that. That was the exiled prince, Reza Pahlavi, that everybody's talking about. They're asking for him to come back, and he's the one to tell people go to streets, this, do that, now stay home. He's basically leading, and everybody's listening by the looks of it.
Yeah, some terrible images to be looking at too. People getting run over and shot in the streets. Like I don't know why I showed that, but I guess
the level of images that I've seen, like, is it's insane. Like they put so all the people that they killed, they put it all together. They put it in the body bags, and then they put it all on the ground, and they ask families to come search in body bag by body bag to identify who's their son and daughter, and then. So they have to go through hundreds of dead people to find out who's there. So this is what the families went through. I'm just trying to show you the level of, yeah.
Sorry, a little bit of humor, inappropriate timing.
Yeah. The Iranian Air Force, you showed it.
Yeah.
Carpet.
Yeah.
Magic Persian carpet. Yeah.
Someone said, but you said bully. However, he has more people that love him. For us personally, from outside, it looks like what he was doing, he was right for the Iranians, and they just love him.
Yeah, so it's 90 million people.
It is a 90. Yeah.
You sell the oil. You only pay to 10 million people, and then you make those people your soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there are people who believe in him. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a. I'm just saying that the other.
Well, he wouldn't be where he is if they didn't believe in him.
The other 80 million people is suffering. If you're a good leader, you should be good to everyone. Am I right?
You are 100% right. A good leader leads by example as well.
Followers. Everybody got a follower. Osho went to the middle of the United States and started the cult. Those are also human beings too. But this guy is killing oppressing, killing his people. There's no opposition in Iran. Did you know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, he's the only choice.
If you're a great leader, let have opposition go where oppositions are in prisons. The thing is that the reality is people who live in Western. I know I'm not saying the Western civilizations are great, Western countries are great, but they had at least a minimum level of human rights covered. We
Yeah.
don't have that minimum of way back in thing. This is like a bigger problem, right? So a country can go, they can go, okay, this is Islam. Everybody should wear a job. You don't have freedom. Like it's not like you can. You guys in Canada, everybody culturally diverse. Then Muslims come to Canada, they live freely. They're like Jewish Christians live freely. If Canada come in and say, "Oh, okay, everybody should do dress like this, and everybody should go like do this," and then if you don't do it, I'll imprison you and I kill you. No, right? But that person is doing, so he's doing something wrong.
Um, so let's go back to the art side of things here, because like I was saying, I want to focus on your painting a little bit more. You're an engineer. What do you do as an engineer?
I designed electric vehicles
Ah,
engineer. Yeah,
I want one.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a mechanical engineer. I do the things. I do like to more talk about my art aspect of it because yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. You're an engineer, but also an oil painter, like we discussed before. Those feel like kind of opposite worlds. Like, so how did the art aspect become a part of your life?
It goes hands in hands.
Yeah.
It's like you do a part of your job with the right side and the other part with the left side. And there's creativity in engineering, obviously.
Hmm.
Uh, the whole part of being an artist is like for a person who start thinking outside the box. Sometimes you're doing design and engineering, you need to think outside the box and think outside the normal, coming with a better solution, new solution. So it's not like they're the thing. But why am I interested in paintings? Because I don't know, but from the childhood I like painting and I like drawing. And my dad, the instant he noticed it, a lot of some kids, some parents send their kids to learn music instruments. My dad realized I like drawing, and then he sent me to some master in Iran, and then I learned how to do the oil painting in the teenager when I was doing already doing exhibitions, and then that one because it was every time I'm doing painting, it makes me relax. That is when I'm doing painting, when I'm mixing paints and then drawing and putting the paints on the canvas, I don't feel like I'm free from the thoughts of the world, and I live in that moment and I enjoy it, and I like. So a lot of times I look even lose the paintings on my therapy. Like even in the previous events, I was really feeling very sad that I couldn't express myself. That's one way for me that I to express myself. So that has been always with me. When I moved to Newfoundland, I had homesick. I was homesick. I was like sometimes I'm missing what so I was like I had to always every house that I was I had a I either had a little studio. Or even if I don't have a studio, I was doing it inside my room. So it was
Yeah.
always part of my life, and it I never left. And I'm so glad and grateful for having this thing. And now I'm looking at it as it has been years that I'm working on it, and then I'm pursuing it somehow emerging artist, and hopefully when I'm done with the engineering part, I become established artist.
Yeah, and you said your goal eventually is to just not
Just
have
do art.
just paint.
Yeah, I remember we were that was the same time that we were walking that park thing. Yeah, I forgot that was the name of the park, and
Yeah,
you were doing the
bowering.
banner bowering. Yeah, and then I was saying that my best. You were saying what was the best thing that you want to do? Is like I want to have a cabin by the lake, and then inside that cabin, like at the end when I'm retired or whatever, I'm like just relaxed. I'm just painting till the end of my life. That's my perfect world, perfect thing. Mm.
Do you think art can communicate things about culture and politics that logic or analysis can't?
Uh, I don't think logic can communicate too much. People often don't respond to logic so good, but they but you listen to the piece of like violin, you might get like about like some event, like you might get like very you get the idea what's going on, like you might get more excited, might a lot of feelings can get transferred through art a lot better, a lot of
Yeah,
message can get to communicate through art a lot better than
yeah. I
logic.
think people are more so emotional beings than logical ones.
Yes, yeah, correct, yeah. I mean, uh you every time you something happens and you want to remember, your brain attaches it to some sort of emotions, and then you remember it better. So I don't think communication through logic for a lot of people who are analytical can go a long way, but it doesn't ripple through the mass of people.
What other themes and stuff do you find yourself painting about? I'm looking at the painting behind yourself. What's that one all about?
So this painting is actually the new piece that I'm working on. It's kind of like what is it called? Apocalyptic. It's like an end of the world kind of thing.
Okay.
And that is also related to Iranian thing too. Maybe I'll go here so I can explain what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I see boobies.
Yeah. When they did that, because this is a painting inspired. I took it from Odd Nerdrum painting. Odd Nerdrum is one of the masters alive. He's great. But the whole motif of the painting is basically when they killed that many people, they put it on the body bags, and then they put it on the floor, and people were like going and finding their thing. Some of them were even arrested. Their hands were like in the zip tie. That one that you can tell here.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like on the zip tie. So I decided to paint a family, a child, a father, a daughter, grandmother, mother, and maybe grandfather, something here, and they put them as a here. So this painting is not finished out. I got a lot of work going on, but this is like in a preliminary stage. That's also related, obviously, to our revolution and things happening, and one of my efforts to create more awareness.
Really cool. And so what other themes and stuff do you paint about?
Well, I do. You always, you know me for a long times. You know that I'm all over the place. Like I go from like imaginative realism to like I can go figurative, like what you see in behind.
I've seen all kinds of things, like self-portraits and...
I was never like married to the specific like a motif, because but I do love the storytelling part of it. I'm recently I'm getting a lot into it, and now I think now because of what happened in Iran, I'm kind of like now more stuck with this motif, and I think I'm gonna go more make a series. Normally when artists like they're at the beginning of the phase of emerging artists, they go experience around till they find what they're interested in, and now when they pass off from moving from the emerging artists to established artists, they figure out who they are, what they want to do, and I'm almost trying to figure out, but I'm there. Close. I'm getting close.
So if someone in Canada only knew what they saw in the news, what would they really be missing? I think you already talked about this, really, about Iran. What would they be missing about it?
I mean, if you don't know about it, it would be a lot of like, this Middle East situation is so complicated.
Yeah.
But what I know, I mean, the angle that I want everybody to look from it is, for whatever reason, people are dying. I mean, they have to put their mind and bring it to this perspective that we're living in 2026 as a human, and we're failing. We're failing. We're still like, we're still that monkeys or apes that go fight and kill each other. We haven't changed. And I don't think the way that we're going is we're gonna get better too. Like, but like, if you're really interested to know, I think reach out to your communities, talk to Iranians. These people are suffering. The same way that you talk to the other nations, Palestinians or all of the Ukrainians and everything, talk to Iranians and then try to get to know them better. Try to get the real aspects of it. Like, we are so much like, if you really care about what's going on, talk to the people. Leave the media alone and talk to the people who suffer to know what's going on. And because for them, this is their day and night. You might not have the time to go through to get the gravity of the situation, to understand the gravity of the situation. There might be a lot of noises in your media, and then you might get triggered to think some way, some direction, some other direction. Just look at it as another human being who's from that country, and then if I find that person from there, then listen to that person. Like the same way.
What are some myths about the Iranian people that frustrate you? Are there any?
Some myths about the Iranian people that frustrates me. Um, it's not myths. I just don't like the fact that people don't talk about us too much, and they kind of kind of portray us as a, like in that area. They portray us maybe as a Arab culture or like any other culture or Islam culture. We are different. We are a very old civilization. It's like you go to the Egyptian and say that okay, they might be Muslim, but they say okay, your background is nothing. You didn't have a pharaohs and like all of those. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like that's the thing that like people often. I see a lot of people that they astonish me with the level of knowledge that they got about my country. But then I see the people that completely ignorant, and then they know. But then the people who are completely ignorant are the people who are louder. That's a, it's interesting. Yeah.
How diverse is Iran culturally and politically inside the country? Like how?
Insane. It was a lot. It's insanely diverse because every province that you go, they have their own dialect or like language or something. We got Kurdish, Turkish, Baluch, Pars, and then my people are Gilak. Then we got the real Arab people in the south. It's like it's a little bit. It's a little bit of mix, and then they all got mixed with each other. They all got even their traditional uh, outfits that they don't use it anymore. They all have their own like specific way of like ceremonies or like it's insanely diverse.
Um, I remember I was watching the TV show Tehran one day, and you were like, are they from Tehran? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you're like, I could tell because their accent is kind of like
Yeah,
flamboyant
in
or
a way.
something. You said
Yeah,
like
their accent is more clean, Farsi.
kind
Yeah,
of like
where
metrosexual or whatever.
it's like you go to Toronto and then how do they talk? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like yeah, a lot of relative to new. So Newfie people are very like kind of relevant of my hometown accent because I'm Gilaki. We call I talk Pashto, so they call it. Oh, these guys are like yeah.
And also back to the diverse, culturally diversiveness. Are there like people from outside of Iran that live inside of Iran? Like a lot, like here in Canada, for instance, there's like, you walk down the street and you can see a multicultural pot of different types of people.
Not now in Iran. Not now. Not I can't talk about 50 years ago because I wasn't alive that time. But right now when I see well we are already diverse enough within ourselves, but I don't see, for example, a lot of European. I see like sometimes tourists comes. Like came last time I visited, I saw people from Netherlands, and Germany, and like which I found it really. But they in the touristic area because Iran like got a lot of like ancient history and like places you can go visit, and a lot of people are interested in these type of things, and they're not afraid that okay things can go south. Like so they go, they're like adventurous. Uh, but no, it's not like the like it's not like if you walk in Iran you go to a big city like Tehran, and then you're gonna see, for example, 5-10% Chinese or Indians or like uh,
Mm.
people who are like Africans or like it's not or whites. Like it's a very like same type of um, same type of like race that you see. It's all that you can call it Middle Eastern stuff like that. Mm.
Excuse me.
The thing is the way that is a lot of the people they don't feel safe. They wasn't feeling safe to go in there, and then Iran is not part of the trade. So and then not tourism is down. It's not a lot of people don't find it like as a vacation destination when they try to
Well,
pick
yeah,
for their like
I I
they
think there might.
skyrocket.
I think the Canadian government probably has like a travel warning,
Well,
but
before I came to Canada, Canadian government closed their embassy in Iran, and they had it enough. They closed it. And even
okay.
for me to get a visa to come to Canada, I have to go to Turkey.
Oh.
And yeah, and then now they just like they just put an alert that because everybody had to leave if they already know what's going on. Shit is gonna hit the fan.
And people are trying to leave, but they can't. Well, they can
No,
leave
no,
via.
no.
They
They
can
already
leave.
asked them to leave, whatever. So I think um,
Okay.
I don't think any Canadian lives in Iran.
No, but not Canadians. I mean Iranians, like trying to leave right now. Basically, the airports were shut down or something, and the
Possible,
only
but
only
there's
way
no
out was
air.
on ground.
The air is closed. How can they leave? There is no
Yeah.
flight. All the flights are like when they announce no fly zone, everything leaves, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
but they said you're
Even
allowed to
now,
leave
even
via
like
ground.
as a result of the strikes of Iran and Doha, like Abu Dhabi, like Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia, a lot of people who were in Dubai, they they're all leaving. I've heard the people are trying to leave with private jets, and the private jet tickets are $100,000. The ticket they used to be 20,000 or something. So it is crazy.
How do like
Even the
ordinary?
people in the countries outside they're leaving. So because the situation is unstable till it becomes unstable, right?
That's true, yeah, because Iran could be capable of attacking the UAE and stuff,
They
and
are
and
it's not they are capable. So yesterday they did. It's not about the capability. Yesterday they hit about, I think, no 172 missiles and 370 drones to just the United Arab Emirates. If you can pull out the news.
yeah,
Mm. So I told you, they approach is asymmetric wars, and they try to attack other countries to force the U.S. to stop, kind of thing. Their approach is different, right? You
yeah,
cannot
because
hit it like they
uh,
cannot
be-
do anything to state, so they try to make the cost of the war more.
because I was researching it and I was like looking into like Iran attacking the UAE, and I'm just thinking like, well, doesn't the UAE have so much money? How come Iran is able to like attack them?
It's
And it's because like you were talking about it earlier, Iran focused all of its energy on making weapons and military power, and whereas like the
missiles, only
UAE
missiles, nothing else.
yeah, missiles, and the UAE
Mm.
focuses on basically businesses like making
And
money.
then
And
look at the difference. And then UAE is good with the states. I don't think anybody in United Arab Emirates say that's to America. Like, you know what I mean? That
no,
kills
because
terrorists.
they
You know.
they've got casinos and stuff, man. They want their
So
money. They
okay,
want
okay, question here. So those are Muslims too, right? They're Muslim countries, right?
right.
How come they're prevailing and then they're becoming better? It's because of the. So it's not about Islam then.
It's definitely
But
not because of their floating islands or their man-made
yeah,
islands.
because they made the good decision to be friendly with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We don't need to complicate every situation, right? They're like those friends in the chat ask, "Are you Mossad?" What's going on, right?
So between February 28th and March 1st, I guess today, or was that yesterday? The Iran launched ballistic missiles and drones towards the UAE, including
Mm.
Dubai and Abu Dhabi, as part of a wider regional
Yeah,
escalation.
today, because of that, I guess France announced, and Britain started that they're gonna get involved in doing the defense because the thing is that area, a lot of oil is going on, a lot of things are going through path, and then that brings a biggest instability, not to the people, but like to the economy and everything, right? 20% of Ecuador's economy passed through that part, right? So it's a big deal, and then they need to provide support to make sure whatever the United States started gets finished as soon as possible, and then there's no negotiations. Obviously not working, but so we need to make sure Iranian missiles doesn't hit over there. That's why everything it looks like a little mini World War III is starting. It's like
Yeah,
unfolding behind your eyes. Yeah,
that's probably one of my
before your eyes.
greatest fears. And like I'm a Canadian Forces. Um,
To be
uh,
honest with you, if you were saying like a couple of months ago you were talking about it, I was just saying, okay, you guys are like tripping. But now the possibilities are out there. If there's a
oh
if you put a probability for it, now the probability is high. If it was 5%, now maybe it's 15%, maybe higher. I don't know, but the
well,
probability is increasing.
a couple of months ago, I was thinking that it was happening with all of the back and forth between Israel and Iran,
Yeah, and then
and then
Ukraine,
the
there is another
U.S.
battle over there, Ukraine, Russia.
Yeah,
Then
and
there's you
then
can see there is a line getting drawn, right?
and then you got India versus
Yeah, and then yeah,
my God, my
correct.
brain.
Yeah,
Why can't I say
versus
the country's
Pakistan
name?
and like Afghanistan and
Pakistan.
all of
Yeah, there
that.
we go.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Pakistan. And now,
Pakistan.
and now there's Pakistan, India, Afghanistan going on.
And
It's like,
China and Taiwan.
yeah, that could happen too. It's like everybody is like trying to draw the line, and then let's say, okay, this is where we fight it. Like, and then
So
as a result of it, like I have there's an artist even in community. She's Ukrainian, and I was like saying that this is like 4 or 5 years that they're going through that thing, right, between Russia and Ukraine, right?
long time.
It's crazy. more 4 or 5. It's supposed to be a very small operation. Now you'll see where we're going, right? So there's a fear that even a lot of Iranians are scared and concerned that this thing can continue in us too. So it's not like we did it. We went to the streets. We want freedom, but like as a result of it, it can go anywhere, any direction, right? It's a risk that my people are taking, and we are all aware of it. But we just so happened we didn't have any other option. But the way that it is unfolding it can go in any direction, right? Now imagine a situation that Iran has nuclear war, nuclear like weapon, or like has missiles that can hit the states too. Then you know what I mean? How it can unfold.
Yeah. And as a Canadian Forces veteran, that's like one of the like I suffer from PTSD and depression, anxiety, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And
If you're a child in the Middle East, I guess you have a little bit of all of them in you. All of the ABCs in you.
Yeah.
ADDs, ADHDs, like PTSDs, everything.
Stuff like that is what really freaks me out the most. And like, sometimes I might be a little paranoid because I smoke too much weed, but I'll start thinking about, nuclear weapons and stuff, and like how the world could just be over.
It's feasible, right?
Yeah,
it's feasible.
And that
and the idea of thinking about it is super scary thought. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who are already facing it. Maybe not nuclear bomb, but like the thing hits and then your family is gone or you're gone, whatever.
Or imagine
it's
people
better when you're gone because you don't remember what happens. But like if your family in front of you died, like it's crazy.
Yeah, well, imagine the soldiers in Venezuela. Apparently, the technology that the U.S. has in their military power is so scary and like beyond anything anyone's ever seen that the world doesn't stand a chance against the U.S.
Yeah, but what does it tell you? Maybe we should not take aggressive approaches towards the people who could be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think about AI?
I mean, my general philosophy towards anything is, I think the first time the washing machine came out, everybody was like, "What's going on?" They want to sell us power.
It's going to take over the world.
Like this and then things went good. Then it's the technology, right?
Yeah, quality of life becomes better.
If you're constantly having dystopian mindset, then you're not going to enjoy life. If you're constantly having utopian mindset, then maybe you're too much enjoying life. Well, you know what I mean. You just go with it, right? It's like, what are you even worried about? Do you think are you gonna live like 1,000 years? No, you live like 50 years, 180 years, mostly. What are you worried about?
Well,
if you want to be worried about, be the part of the good cause. Maybe take advantage of AI and use it in a good way. We're using it in our industry right now in our designs and everything. We are using it. I said that everybody should start using it. It's a tool. It's the best tool in the world. Like I don't even need to do coding, write down 1,000 lines of code. It does it in a minute.
I know. I've tried the vibe coding stuff.
Yeah, like
I tried. I developed my own app.
Yeah, imagine we can harvest all the energy in the world. We can harvest all the energy in the world, and we have enough robots, AI, smart robots, whatever, and they can do everything for us. Then we don't need to do anything. Like that idea, that image, that vision that Elon Musk got. Imagine it happens in a good way. I'm not talking about let's talk not about the bad things. Imagine you control it good, and then everything happens. Then I think the only thing that will be left for a human to do is just art, I guess. Like what else you want to do? That's it. You can only enjoy life, and then that's it. Imagine you have all the free time in the world. You don't need to do anything to go make money and everything. Then what would you do?
Well, I'm kind of in that situation right now.
One of the good things to do is to get into entertainment business, like become a comedian, make everybody laugh. That could be fun. That is also a piece of art. So
become a live streamer.
Yeah, become live streamers, like people entertain people, right? When everything getting taken care of. So it's a good thing about it. Yeah, but then there is another thing that everybody's talking about. All of the conversations are valid. That if we get the AGI and then global AI, and then things we lose the control.
You're familiar with Terminator.
I don't mind now if the AI comes and take control of us. It doesn't look like we as a human being were doing a great job, killing each other.
Yeah, really though.
I don't know.
but you're familiar with the Terminator, right? Arnold
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger. Um,
but that's feasible now, right? That can
though in
happen.
the storyline in that, the Skynet basically,
Mm.
what the U.S. military, the U.S. government wants right now, and like the AI companies are being like, no. Uh, they basically want Skynet. They want capabilities of AI to be able to kill people and stuff.
Yeah, they are using it now. How do you think this military operation that they did in Iran is insane in
Yeah.
terms of AI thing and stuff? The there was a F-22 F-18 that got out of General Ford the carrier, which is like parked by the Israel. It come out and then the things that it released, the payload that it released, they're all like they're all little like planes that they use AI. So the fighters didn't even come to Iran. They even close to that. They all went return. They fill the payload. They come back. They did multiple, and then there were F-35 from the south that they all give direction of targets to those little guys, those missiles. Using it in the middle of the way, they got their target, and then they changed their target. And they were smart enough. If one of them go and then there's air defense hitting it, the other ones figure out, okay, now we gotta go hit this one. Right now, the war is happening with AI. Right now. So they're using it in military technology. It's insane.
It's crazy. It's like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Animatrix, the movie, like basically one of the
Yeah.
Matrix movies, only it's a cartoon version, animated version.
Oh, I haven't seen the animated one.
Well, the what's going on right now in the world is basically exactly what was happening in that movie, and it's just crazy to watch.
It just so happened that everything that we make in the movies, it keeps happening after.
Yeah, because life imitates
it's like we're
art.
putting it out in the world and it just like finds its way back to reality of us.
Yeah, that's true. The Jetsons is a very good example of that. Like, because of the robots and the flying cars and the video phones and all
one
that
of the
stuff.
weird ones that I see a lot of people saying this cartoon Simpsons, like is predicting a lot of things and they're finding scenes of. Is that true? Is that like
over the year they've had like hundreds of predictions on things,
which is insane, right?
Yeah, insane.
Mm.
Let me ask ChatGPT. This is very off topic, but how many predictions did the Simpsons make?
I think the problem with one of the problems with ChatGPT and stuff, like some of them, I think they're getting better now. But
Okay.
fact checkings in it becomes like harder too, because they all get.
Any post that I see on the internet, I run it through ChatGPT first and be like, "Is this credible?" And basically, it's most of the time it's like, no.
But it depends what data that LLM got trained with, right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So its knowledge is based on what the knowledge we put out in the internet.
So the short answer about the Simpsons things, about 15 to 25 predictions were widely considered pretty accurate. Hundreds of other coincidence, exaggerated or flat out wrong.
It does answer good though, the way that.
But I mean, they do have.
Remember that picture of that Trump was going about the elevator on the elevator when for this thing press, that was accurate apparently.
This one.
Yeah, that one exactly. That's it. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
They could have set it up that way, but this is still interesting.
So wait, I don't see the Trump was actually the number one thing that happened. That was in 2000.
That was one of the 25s.
Yeah, Disney buying.
That was
Disney buying Fox. Smartwatches were predicted. FIFA corruption scandal.
That's it. Man, how many episodes of Simpsons were around? I think they covered the whole
750 plus.
Like, they got so many episodes. I remember I was a child and they were like making cartoons.
They have almost 800.
800?
Yeah.
That's not too many. I thought there's a lot more.
Yeah. So in regards to
when you make 800 episodes, you should run out of topics, or you can just talk about what's happening now. Yeah, that's how long they were around.
Well, because they have current events that they can talk about, but they also have like the moral things that they need to talk about, and you can only do that so many times.
And then you make some of the predictions that some of these things comes out exactly as it is, but then becomes scary, right? Coincidences.
So let's go back to Iran for a little bit. Do you see a generational divide between like older Iranians and younger ones? I think you were talking about it earlier, like with the internet and stuff. People are becoming more.
There's some big a gap between me and the new generation, but it's a big gap between a lot of like our parents' generation and then this generation, because the economy makes sense. They went through the previous regime. They went through the previous thing, the Shah one, and then this regime, and then now they're thinking that this thing might come back. It might not work. It might work. So, but they have their own mindset, and then the way that they think is completely drastically different from what the new generation think.
So let's talk about
the way that. Pardon?
Let's talk about the future of Iran. Where do you think Iran is heading over the next 10 or 20 years?
The perfect case scenario, and we all working towards it. I don't want to talk about worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is just the idea of it that's like bothering me.
It's World War III essentially, plus genocide.
That's crazy. Massacre, huge massacre, right? But the best case scenario that we are aiming for it, and it's possible, is this regime goes away, and then they run. Obviously, the American sanction will go back, and then Iran become what it was before. At least something like 50 years ago. Then the whole peace comes to Middle East, and then all the Arab countries, Iranians, like everything, Palestinians, everything, Israelis, whatever, right? They all come learn how to trade with each other, and then be good to each other. And then as a result of it, Iran, all the investments comes back to Iran, which is the most important part. All the foreign countries start investing in Iran. Iran becomes, even if it got to the point that maybe in 5-10 years, all the big companies have started I will come back and maybe design an electric vehicle or take a part in the company in Iran, start to making my country better. That's the best case scenario. A lot of maybe our immigrants will go back. You got to realize, if we have peace in Middle East, right? A big mass of migration that is happening, but all will be able to come back and work on their own countries, and then make their countries better. That would be like a perfect case scenario. That would solve the immigration problems that all of the countries are facing. That will solve so that is possible. There was a time that it was like that, right? And that time wasn't too far before. So with this new King Reza Pahlavi that we're deciding to bring it back, that there is a hope for that path to happen. So that's why everybody's going towards that path. And then, to be honest with you, I think it's it's beneficial for all the Arab states, and also it's beneficial for even the United States to make sure that area is secure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That area, that's the best. And they want security for the oil, so oil can get sold, and then maybe China is not going to buy it cheaper, but they're still going to buy it because they need it. And
imagine
everybody work together, and then trade improves, and then even Europe got better because of that path gets opened up without problems. So there's a lot of good things can happen if you make it happen. But with this conflicts of years of conflicts of going back and forth, we can never get anywhere. This is 100%. We 100% agree that this path that we going is not working, right?
Yeah.
Let's all agree on that. Then what is the best path?
Imagine being able to go to vacation to Iran multiple times a year.
That was 50 years ago. People were going. It was like Turkey. Like everybody was going for vacations and stuff. It was one of the greatest.
Just imagine
culture, things to visit. Iran got a lot to offer. a lot
Imagine
longer.
having a summer home or something, right? Like I would love to have a summer house in Iran, just go hang out
I
on the beach
I can tell you
somewhere.
this much. Okay, so this is the other asking it. If you live in Iran,
Yeah.
you're half-hour flight away in any time in a year, any time in a year, any season. For half-hour flight, you can go to the desert, or you can go to the mountains, or you can go to the beach, or you can go to the woods.
Yeah.
So you have a four season country, 24-hour, 36, 5 days a year
Easy.
with half-hour flight. That's how much you
Providing
can
they
see
don't get
the
provi-
waterfalls, like everything, right? That's the nature. That's the nature aspect.
Yeah.
Forget about the oil aspect, the mineral aspect. That's the nature. Just and then there's a lot of places that you can go see the ancient like civilizations. Like there's remains. They're like Islamic architectures, like still remain. All of these things, all of these five, whatever happens these 5 years ago, there's there. So
Oh
you
yeah.
get a lot to see. If it depends what you're into, right?
I want to see the Sumerian tablets.
They're all. I think they're all in British Museum.
Oh, in the UK.
Yeah, UK got the best of everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's
You come took
UK,
it. You came took
UK,
it.
UK followed by
Yeah.
Washington D.C.
Yeah, if you're from India looking for your Kohinoor diamond, UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How much is that worth? 20 million or something?
They're priceless, priceless. Yeah.
Yeah.
20 million is nothing, man. You got paintings in a Ontario museum that are like 50 millions, 100 millions.
Oh, okay. There's
In
probably
the
paintings that are worth billions. I've seen documentaries about it.
they don't have billions, but like yeah, they're like we got priceless paintings that they don't put the price on it. Yeah.
Uh,
They're just one.
yeah, they're called NFTs.
Yeah,
That's
they don't
that.
worse. It was a big hype. I didn't even jump on it, but a lot of people make insane amount of money from it.
I haven't made
I
any,
think
but
it's
I've
still going
I've
on. I guess
purchased a
like
lot.
it has a value, but it didn't. It has at the beginning it was very overvalued, overinflated, and
Oh
now
yeah.
it's finding the real value. If now you got just a pixel, it worth nothing, then it worth nothing.
There's been people who bought NFTs for millions of dollars, and now they're worth like
Yeah,
$100.
yeah. The guy who bought from Beeple that big painting and then created that boom in NFT. And now the Beeple's painted the work is sees Beeple still creates a new digital art, but that doesn't go that much. And he's not doing it for that anymore, that cause anymore. But he was a big crazy hype.
So can we talk about women's rights and stuff inside of Iran? What's that like? Um, for instance,
Women right in the last after the last movement it got better. So but at the beginning this was when I was a child. When I was a
yeah,
child and a teenager. When we were going on, if I was holding my girlfriends, well everybody should wear a hijab by the way. Just get
yeah,
that too. But if I was holding my girlfriend's hand and I was going the streets, there were like some people were coming with a van and they would say, "Who are you guys? Are you brother, sister, or are you guys married?" And if you're not, they can arrest you and their family gonna come and to go to the station and then they probably pay some money, whatever, to bring them out. So that is, or they sometimes they ask you to marry each other, whatever. So that was the beginning when I was growing up, and then it became lighter. It became lighter. Then it comes to the point that we had a woman life freedom. There was a woman who got arrested for not wearing a good job. They killed him, and everybody went to the street and went crazy. And then after that, all the women just take off their scarf and they say, if you want to arrest, now you got to arrest all of us. And then the regime just back down a little bit. But they killed a lot of people. They imprisoned a lot of people, but they seem back down. Then I guess I haven't gone to this couple of recent years back to Iran, but from my friends who went back, and I've seen what's going on. Women just as undefined, and they're not wearing a job anymore. They're not putting their tits out, but they're just not wearing the hair. They're just showing the hair. They're still having their,
they don't have
yeah,
their OnlyFans posted on
yeah.
their social
And
media.
they're not like you go to clubs and everything. They're still not allowed to do that. But in face they can show the hair. So now the hair is free. Like the hair
Okay,
is open. We
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 got.
we went from here nothing to this one, and then now this one.
Hey
We
man,
haven't gone down. Yeah.
progress is
Like
progress.
yeah, if you call it a progress, that's a good progress. Yeah. I
So,
mean,
but
they just realized the thing is every movement that happened, the government tried to do response to control. And that movement, Women Life Freedom, the right government did that. And then now this movement, they're just saying that we guys don't want you. And then they don't have any response to that, unfortunately. they they're asking for a new guy come in, and then the people during different type stage of revolution, people understood that what their demands evolved to become something that is matching with what they exactly want, and they finally found a way that they cannot do anything about it. So that's why the conflict got heated up this much.
So how do you feel about the women's rights? Do you think like do women have less rights than men? Like for
I
instance?
think it's insane. I think even it's I got a problem from a fundamental. The fact that like in a school, men at school and women boy and girl school is separate. That's the beginning of the problem.
Yeah.
Because imagine like you're adult, you're gradually like getting to the point that you have to have a girlfriend, all of those, or you know what I mean, and then you're you get bottled, and then you don't like express yourself, and then now then you later you want to like achieve it in maybe in university, or like maybe go to other countries and try to, you might act like a weird person. As you see a lot
You,
of immigrants that come, they don't act like a normal guys that you people that you think even
like I was
even
going to say, they are awkward around women because they don't know how to behave.
and the women are sometimes awkward around men too.
Same way, yeah.
Yeah, it goes both ways, right? And even like regarding gay rights and everything, you can go probably get in prison, and like a lot of countries that have that problem too. So it's not. I'm talking about in general about the sexuality and everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a major thing. Like you got to realize we're living in 2026. Everybody got internet. Everybody's now that time that we were in school, there was like a mobile phone, there was a Nokia or whatever, right? And then dial-up. We were not watching. We were watching movies, but it wasn't too much in our face that all the youth and the other countries are doing this, and I'm doing like this.
Like I could say an inside joke, and then all of a sudden, a whole world of people on the other side of the world could pick up on that inside joke, and they'll start using it, like, because of the internet.
Because everyone now is like in the world think the same now. They see the same things. They see that they're capable of processing, and in people who are living in the countries that are oppressed, they can understand. They know that what they're missing.
Their brains are rotting equally.
What does it say?
I said their brains are rotting equally from doom scrolling.
Yeah, it's true. That's another subject that we don't want to get into.
But you just you kind of touched on what I was going to go to next. What about like, is there like LGBTQ communities, maybe secret ones inside of Iran?
It's interesting. They say the numbers are crazy over in Iran too.
Yeah, and a lot of countries, Muslim countries,
and for whatever they have, like for the priest and the child situation, they probably got their version of them too, you know. But I remember they were arresting them, and then they realized when they arrest them, they send them to the prison. They're gonna cause trouble with the other people in the prison, so they just decided to let them go. And a lot of them are leaving Iran, but they're still like, yeah, it's there are things that they have lost control of it. You know what I mean? There's like, they tried the level of oppression that when I was growing up, things were over there is not even not the same scale, but it's better now. They had to make it better. There was no other way. Like there was even the amount of people who are religious in Iran are diminishing. The new generation doesn't even believe in religion or any type of things. Some do, but not at the scale that people in the old time they believe. That's where the world is going. In every countries, including Iran.
So you're hopeful for the future of the country?
Yeah, I was hopeless since the recent event. It was very painful, but now we got the hope. And I guess the only reason that person goes and take a bullet and stuff like that is because he wants to create the hope. And when people saw it, they all got to somehow we all felt something inside of us. Okay, now we gotta hold the fort and then continue. So I'm very proud now. I was proud, but I'm a lot more proud that I see these brave people doing it. We were when we were leaving, we were saying that there's no way this country is gonna become better. But now there is a hope. Let's see. Let's hope. Let's all pray that wish that it goes the same way that it's supposed to go, with less people dying and then everything transitioning quickly as possible to what it's supposed to be going.
What would be a better relationship between Iran and the West? What would that look like?
the same relationship that it was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same thing. Now everything was great, exactly as it is. We had the same culture, kind of like same values at least.
Yeah, of course. If you could explain Iran to someone in like one sentence, what would you say?
Mm. Women, life, freedom.
And what do you hope that people take away from this conversation tonight?
I think like go through it, listen to it, and then you don't need to take away too much, but you just need to really realize now you have like heard the one aspect of the view that is from the Iranian, from the person who went through. So uh, that is the reality of the situation. That is like let's all work together to make this world a better place. I mean, I wasn't very active in this any directions of some sort. I was always ignoring, and now when I realize if the if I see something happening close to me or within my vicinity, and I vision, and I don't do anything about it, that means that the next time it's going to happen to me. So it's a good thing that everybody try to understand this thing that we need to prevent a lot of things, and we need to help each other, like or help other nations to get to that point that we all live. Your freedom and your happiness is so much intertwined with the happiness of everybody around it. Imagine you have a big castle, $10 million castle, and you live in a poor neighborhood. When you come out of your castle, are you going to enjoy the view?
No.
But how are you going to enjoy your life? The way that everybody is happy like you. Everybody. Your happiness is not intertwined within your bank account or what you got or where you live. It's intertwined with everyone living. If you're living in Canada, you're living in a very good place and stuff, and then you wake up every day and the news is in the world is this, obviously you're stressed too.
Yeah. And
Right?
Canadians in the U.S. and places in the Western world
Yeah.
and in non-Western world countries too that they
Mm.
take it for granted living where they
Yeah,
live.
cherish your freedom. It's nothing wrong about having enjoying what it is, but if you see that you're stressed in the media, like what is every time you see open the TV, you can't even open the TV, go to news, like because if somebody is suffering, right? You and then so what's the solution? We have to make sure nobody suffers. Unfortunately, like this utopian mindset, we all thought that with all of this technology and everything, we're gonna achieve it, but it's like we are we are failing as a humanity, unfortunately. I hope it becomes a better world. Now everybody's worried about the world war. It's just we just going in the wrong direction so quick.
Okay, now the
Yeah, but
moment.
that's what I want from everybody to take. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just need to go talk to another person, makes one person around you happy. That like or like see who's sad and like try to talk to him like you talk to me and then try to see what's going on. Reach out, like see what you can do about it. I can do this. I can paint. That's what I can do. What you can do. You can make a stream, or anybody can. If everybody do a little bit part and like take a little part of their couch. We can all move this couch maybe to the better room. I don't know. Mm,
So the part of the stream, I think we're getting close to the end of the stream, but I do have
yeah.
some bonus questions that are popping into my head and stuff now. Um, and so this is the moment of the stream that I've been waiting for. Well, first I want to talk about your finger.
Oh, this one.
What
Yeah.
what's the story behind your finger?
When I was a kid, we went to the one of those parks, national parks, and then there was a small merry-go-round kind of thing, and the part of it was broken. I tried to fix it, and then somebody started it, and then my finger got crushed. I always say every
Oh,
time everybody asks this question, I always say I put it in the wrong hole, but but that's the reality of what happened. Mm.
I thought you were going to say you got too saucy with someone or something.
Yeah,
No, no. I think you might have explained it to me before, but I just didn't remember.
Mm,
Okay, and now the ultimate part.
mm.
You speak Farsi, right?
Yeah,
What any other languages or besides English?
yeah, it's English.
Um, can you teach me some swear words? Is that a thing?
Yeah, yeah, I can teach you some swear words. Kosten Anat Khamenei.
Wait, one more time. I'm gonna turn the music off for a second here. Now I gotta hear this properly. Okay. Go ahead.
Kosa Nanat Khomeini.
Koset
Mhm.
Anand
Nanat
Tromani.
Khomeini.
Tromani.
Khomeini, the leader one who got killed.
Oh, okay. What does that mean?
That means kind of like fuck your mother, Khomeini. Yeah.
Uh,
Is it sweaty enough for you?
yes, it's okay.
It's like
Well, Pam, brother, thanks for coming in on the stream
mm.
today. It's been a while since we had a chat.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually, it was really a good old. We used to hang out a lot, and then this me moving out of Newfoundland. It's
Is there anything else
uh,
that you wanted to touch on or talk about?
no, I guess I think we talked a lot of topics. I'm pretty happy with what we got going on here. Yeah,
Yeah, we've been
thank
live
you,
for
thank you.
almost 2 hours now. We're approaching
Yeah,
the 2 hour
and we
mark,
can go
guys.
for another couple of hours, but that's enough. And
Yeah,
that two
we
hours
could.
is long now.
I got to go smoke some dope and then drink a beer and
Yeah, yeah, sure.
do do whatever.
Mm.
All right, bro. Well, thanks for coming in, and
Okay, thank you.
we
Take care.
will maybe we'll do another live stream some other time, and it could
Hopefully.
be probably about whatever else. Doesn't necessarily have to
Sure.
be about Iran.
Yeah.
Anytime you
Hopefully
want to come in.
about the the victory in Iran,
Yeah,
the new Iran. Yeah.
yeah. Well, myself and do you know Phil, right? Phil St. Croix,
Yeah, you guys
fucking
do
Phil.
that stream of poker stream.
Yeah, we do a poker stream every time, and this is how we do it through the Zoom call. So if you ever were ever interested
Mm.
in popping in and saying hi,
Yeah, like
just
maybe in the weekends I'll be down. I will be down for
yeah. So Sundays are probably a good
for
day,
some
best
stuff.
day that we do that. So I'll send
Saturdays,
you
Sundays is great. Yeah,
right on. Well, thanks, brother. Thanks for coming
send
in.
me
We'll
anyways. I would definitely like to do one.
yeah, sure.
Mm.
We will.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in the stream. You've been watching Payam and myself. Information in the chat. We'll get his links and stuff in there if you guys want to check him out on YouTube and Instagram and wherever. Yeah, all of his artwork and stuff you can view online somewhere probably, or you can go to a museum in person and check it out.
Mm. Great.
All right.
Adios.
Thanks. Thanks for coming in, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.